Evidence Casey Costello used to justify giving heated tobacco products a tax cut. In internal emails seen by One News, the Ministry of Health expert described the minister's information as selective, out of date, and some of it crap. Here's senior political reporter Benedict Collins.
I mean, if it wasn't so serious, it would be hilarious.
These are the heated tobacco products the Prime Minister's hoping will help people.
We should probably bring to their attention again, Chewy, you know quite a bit about this. How many companies make these products?
Just one.
Oh.
It's failed in pretty much every market apart from Japan, where Japan have banned vapes instead.
So just one company gets this. Okay, just checking in.
Get off ciggies.
Well, we really want to be able to make sure that we're giving people as many options as possible to get away from cigarettes.
I'm sorry, I know this is not the thing, but that dude coming in, sliding in from the left of the screen was absolutely perfect. I'm going to watch it again. Just like, he needs a little kind of noise, one of them that's like, as he comes in. Ready?
Well, we really want to be able to make sure that we're giving people as many options as possible to get away from cigarette smoking.
The government cut taxes on the products after Casey Costello got independent advice that she says shows they'll help people quit.
There's no independent evidence that they help people to quit smoking.
It's a $200+ million tax cut to the country's biggest tobacco company.
Now One News has seen internal emails at the Ministry of Health. Their chief advisor, epidemiology, reviewed the minister's independent evidence, 5 documents in all, and told her colleagues,
it's not so much that all the studies are crap.
She thought one was okay, another good, but now well out of date.
It's more that it is a small number of selective research, not up to date, and certainly don't form any sort of robust evidence.
She pointed out some of the data cited in one study was provided by the tobacco company, Philip Morris.
It feels like a quick and dirty...
That feels like, you know, big petroleum doing their own research, big tobacco. That could never go wrong. You would expect big tobacco to put out some research, even if it was harmful to the product they were making, because they're just good citizens.
Google search.
Do you think the quality of the information she is bringing to Cabinet is up to scratch?
Yeah, I could tell you that minister is very, very focused on making sure she lowers daily smoking rates and delivers on smoke-free 2025.
Yeah, officials at the Ministry of Health, when they're talking about this evidence that Casey Costello had, they're putting evidence inside inverted commas. I mean, they seem to think their minister's behaviour is a bit farcical.
Well, I just put it to you that I have conversations with the minister. I have through the course of the year. You've seen.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that he has conversations.
What I would put to you is...
I don't believe that he has conversations with the minister about this. My gut, and it's just my gut tells me that he doesn't do a lot of communicating with ministers from other parties, would be where I'd place my money if I was going to do a polymarket bet. And so I doubt very much he spends a lot of time talking to Casey Costello. Remember, he didn't spend any time talking to her about her research, air quotes, research, because he hadn't seen it the last time this conversation came up. And even though he hadn't seen it, he was happy to stand by it because she was worthwhile and trustworthy.
In a Ministry of Health, frankly, that I think has not been straight up about conflicts of different officials that have been in that minister's department, and they needed to have been.
Labor says it's just embarrassing.
Casey Costello is making the whole government look foolish. I think the fact that Christopher Luxon's not willing to do anything about that is an indictment on his leadership.
A short time ago, the Ministry of Health said its experts' critique was not the ministry's official position.
And you've just got...
Now, we watched this last night, this little bit at the end, but let's just watch the next 30 seconds because Casey Costello yesterday did reply in what I would describe as a very Trumpian way, which is, I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you.
Got a response from the minister, I understand, Benedict. What does it say?
That's right. We've been trying to get an interview all day long with Casey Costello without success, but then just a few minutes ago, we've got quite an extraordinary statement from her. Now, Casey Costello has said that she's gone and read these emails today, and when she looks at them, she sees it as another attempt by public servants at the Ministry of Health to try and undermine the government's efforts to reduce smoking in New Zealand. She said...
So let's get this right. The experts and the officials in the Ministry of Health are trying to undermine the government to get to smoke-free 2025. The same government that cancelled banning cigarettes that the same officials, I'm sure, would have been aghast at. So these same officials would, like the rest of the world, literally the world, would have been shocked that this government took away the banning of cigarettes. But now it's them who undermine that end goal of smoke-free 2025, not Casey Costello, not this government, not Philip Morris with their tax breaks. It's the health professionals. It's the people within the Ministry of Health, Chewy. They're the ones to blame, not Casey Costello, not Luxon, not ACT, them. They're to blame.
Absolutely. Fundamentally doesn't understand what public servants are supposed to do. Here's a tip for Minister Costello. It's in the fucking name. They're servants to us, the public, not you. Not you. So if they want to call you on their bullshit, then that's in their purview. Like to lean on this crutch of political neutrality, yeah, they can be politically neutral, but they are there to call out bad ideas when their minister goes off gung-ho, because that's what she is bought and paid for to do by Philip Morris, because she is a lobbyist first and a servant of the people second.
Yep. Now we've got
heated tobacco products just offend me on so many levels. A, because they're a bad product. B, because they've got a stupid fucking name. C, as you saw in that clip, it's literally taking a cigarette out of a box and putting it in a machine. And I love whoever in the comments called them boiled cigarettes. I love it. That should be the next product that Philip Morris comes out. You can't smoke them. You've got to boil them and drink the juice.
And just remember, the last time this conversation came up, we went through the research and there was plenty of it that said this might actually get people to smoke. This might actually become a gateway to get people smoking as opposed to the way of getting people off smoking. Now, Chewy, I have got the Prime Minister from this morning on breakfast. I think it's it's got to be breakfast because that's all that's left. Talking to this, let's have a look at this. I mean, we're kind of getting towards the end of the show, but let's have a look at this because I think it's Daniel Faitawa challenged him around this, and at one stage kind of said, these things don't work. To which his response is going to be, yeah, but we thought we'd give it a go.
Home. Once again, your Associate Health Minister, Casey Costello, is under the spotlight after a ministry official questioned her independent advice where she used to justify tax cuts of $200 million plus to Philip Morris. Her response was to call out the officials. Was that the right response?
Well, so let's just back it up a little bit because, you know, Casey Costello has been under attack, I think, politically all year. And I just want to explain what's going on.
She's doing dumb shit.
Yeah, the question is not has she been under attack? The question is it appropriate? Is it warranted, those attacks? And I would say yes. So, yeah, she's probably been under attack because she's done ridiculous things like cancelling Smoke-Free 2025, giving tax breaks to Philip Morris, those sorts of things. That's going to bring critiques, which you're calling attacks.
To the New Zealand people. You know, we've had some of the most successful anti-smoking legislation in the world. We have some of the lowest daily smoking rates. They've come down in the last year from 8.6 to 6.8% of daily smokers, and we need to get it to 5%, which is our smoke-free target. From here on through...
We were aiming to get it to 0%, actually, but you guys thought we'd throw that in the bin. But, you know, just saying.
It's really hard, right? Because you've actually got really stubborn people that are continuing with smoking, despite all the education thus far, despite the presence of vapes. And what Casey Costello is wanting to do is to present alternatives to cigarette smoking as we deal with that really hardcore group of smokers that we actually, as we try and get that target down to 5%. So all she's done is propose alternatives. You know, obviously vaping's been very important over the last 5 or so.
Technically.
Meth is up there. You know, meth's
Cannabis.
not smoking. Yeah, just fucking, like, if it gets them off tobacco, that's the only thing, right? Intravenous drugs, just go for it.
Isn't it Philip Morris that's proposing the alternatives? Because that's some of the research he's using. So he said Casey Costello is you know, having alternatives, proposing alternatives. Technically, she's using research from places like Philip Morris to propose alternatives. Technically.
Years, and that will continue. We want to make sure we have some guidelines around protecting children underage around vapes, and we put some tougher penalties around all of that. Heated tobacco products is an attempt to look at alternatives as well to cigarette smoking, which is very harmful. And as you move people out of cigarette smoking to something like a heated tobacco product, which actually has half the excise tax attached to it, all we've done is we've allowed in our financial books as accounting to make sure that we put aside a provision to say, look, if we get a wholesale conversion of people people out of cigarettes into heating tobacco products, the government won't collect as much revenue. And it's a good thing getting people off cigarettes, but it means we'll get less money or less revenue. So we'll just put that money.
Which will make them cheaper at the counter, which will drive more people to them, perhaps people who aren't smoking. And because they've got tobacco in them, will not necessarily satiate those addictive qualities and keep them smoking. The other thing the research showed that we read was people are much more likely to continue to smoke and use these as well. So, you know, making smoking products cheaper. National 2026.
To one side to actually account for that should the most conservative position eventuate. So it's not a tax break. What it is actually just saying, look, we're recognising we want to try different things because we're now with a really stubborn set of daily smokers that it gets really hard from here on through. So
and you
that's what we're trying
mentioned
to do.
Heated tobacco products, but Prime Minister, we've had international experts come on our show and the evidence just doesn't back that up.
Well, what we're doing is we're giving it a go. We said we'd review it in 12 months' time and see whether it has been.
Why can't they give cannabis a go and review it in 12 months' time? Why can't we just go, okay, we'll decriminalise for 12 months and see how that goes? It's funny how when there's not perhaps a massive lobby group with deep pockets behind it, that they're less likely just to want to give it a go. Yeah, we'll give it a crack. Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Effective.
Other things that we couldn't give a go and review in 12 months' time, reductions in speed limits. Can't do that. Got to put them up. Got to put them up.
All right.
Moving people off cigarettes into something that's different and not as harmful. And what we will see is, as I said, we put aside the financial accounting around the loss of tax revenue because of the loss of excise tax. But, you know, we're at a point now where at 6.8%, one of the lowest countries in the world after decades of really good work.
Could have been zero.
Continue, but we're just acknowledging the challenge gets tougher and harder from here.
All right, there you go, Chewy. Have at it, sir. Have you got anything else to say?
He is bad at this. Like, he should see that Costello's an albatross around his neck. He can't do anything because it's not his party, but holy shit. Have we ever had a more horrifically corrupt, conflict of interest bound minister as this? It's so blatant. It's
maybe
so
Nicole
out in the
McKee.
open.
Maybe Nicole McKee.
Oh yeah, the 2-for-1 special out of our coalition partners. Jesus.